Final Fantasy just celebrated its 30th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. If I had the clap soundbite, I would play it, but I don't want to learn how to do that shit.
No, we all clap. We all clap to this.
Let's clap, guys. Come on.
Clap to the 30th
Final
anniversary.
Final Fantasy. Congratulations. But pretty much what I wanted to do is just for us guys to like reminisce a little bit and talk about our greatest memories, our favorite Final Fantasy games, our characters, the bosses, the settings, the battle systems, just because Final Fantasy has so much history. I mean, 30 fucking years.
30 years.
And I'm happy that everybody in this room has actually played a Final Fantasy. At least I hope. You play Final Fantasy, right, Mighty P?
Most of them.
Yeah.
I'd say, honestly, out of respect, fuck number 7. It's all about
So many haters
when I saw the remake, I was like, you guys just like don't stop jumping on that nigga's dick, y'all. Like the second you saw his like bouncy yellow hair, like that was it.
Well, Mighty P, I want you to start off, and I want you to tell us what's your favorite Final Fantasy and why.
My favorite Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 8, and that's because it made me cry. Like
at what point?
It's like when you realize the story of the soldier and the story of the woman that's playing the piano with the song that's like, at last I sing to you here and now, and it's it's very dramatic.
I remember.
Same old song, just one night, and then it's like it keeps going, and it's very romantic. And then you realize that basically this guy named Lugan or some shit like that.
Lagoon.
Yeah, Lagoon. Basically,
that was Squall's father.
He's fighting through this war. He's fighting through this war this whole time, and then he realizes that he's fighting to get back to the one woman that he loves. But then the one woman that he loves basically is giving the impression that the Lagoon had died. And basically she falls into depression, but falls in romantically in love with the general at the time. That's basically keeping her company, and she dies, but she gives birth at one point
to Squall.
And no, it wasn't to Squall. It was, but I believe it was to a little girl. And the whole
Squall
time,
has an older sister.
No, that's not even Squall's dad. I don't think so.
Lagoon is Squall's dad.
Yeah,
he is Squall's dad.
I remember it was a little girl he was taking care of the whole time though.
That's because Final Fantasy characters all look like chicks.
Nah, I remember the dress. I think
he is right on that one.
I think you got it wrong.
I think presentation-wise, Final Fantasy VIII is one of the most amazing-looking games for its time.
No, yeah,
hands down.
But like when I saw him hold the ring, and I connected the dots, and I realized it for the first time, like how strong his love was. Like it brought a tear to my eye, and then
what was his power level?
And then and then it's like at first that's when like I finally realized the real power of emotion that games can bring to the table. It's not just like pull the trigger or give a command. Like these people have a background. There's something you got to pay attention to. And like to me, Final Fantasy VIII was the first game that really made me sit down and say, okay, let me listen to the story and see if it's actually good. Like that's why, like even till now, like when I used to play Killzone, like at first I thought it was just like, I'm blue, you're red, I'm gonna kill you just because you're fucking red. Just because you had that one strip of red, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
But then later on, because
you're from Patterson,
because of this game, basically I was like la raza. Nah, but because of this game, I was like, let me pay attention to the story, and I got to see basically how. Honestly, I felt like when I was first playing the first Killzone, drifting away from the story, but I felt like I was the bad guy.
In Killzone or in Final Fantasy?
In Killzone, because you realize that you basically push these people off their own planet.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that Final Fantasy made me realize that you have to pay attention to the story, and that game. That game had everything. It had everything. But the only thing I didn't like was the battle system.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII has the worst battle system of all.
Because it's like you have.
That's not even like negotiable. Like there's no.
Yeah, like you have all these spells.
It's so bad.
You have all these spells,
so good, but
you have all these spells, but you can't technically use them because they basically diminish your character's stats.
Yeah.
So you're sort of like you're restricted from using the technical spells, but you're going hand with the heals and the buffs. But as far as like Viagra and Yeah, and
It's
Blizzard
like
got,
Viagra, but it's
Fire.
Viagra.
Yeah.
Viagra.
And if you wanted to max out their stats, you had to fight the ultimate weapon. You had to like constantly drain them and
Yeah,
switch
you gotta
your people
drain
out.
everybody you fight in that game. That's
Yeah,
what made
you
it
do.
whack. Like, if it wasn't for the fighting system, Final Fantasy VIII would have done so much better. But they tried to experiment way too much.
Like Final Fantasy VIII actually had a like I don't know if you guys noticed, but it had a little connection with Final Fantasy VII with the ultimate weapon.
it did.
Yeah, it was the exact same ultimate weapon
Yeah.
from Final Fantasy VII with the sword and everything.
With the gunblade though.
Not with the gunblade. Basically, the ultimate weapon had the same exact sword. You know that basically Cloud is given after you kill that boss that erupts from the eruption.
I didn't know that. Is that a secret boss?
That's a secret boss.
No wonder.
You had to go.
I
through
never fought him.
You had to go
Yeah.
through his lab, and you had to go all the way down. You had to drain him. You had to make sure you get like 99 of the Omega in order to be strong enough to fight the Omega weapon. No wait, it was Ultimate. It was Ultima.
Ultima.
And then
Ultima.
you had to go back.
Always ultimate weapon.
Yeah.
But you also, but then you had to also get like this one card that was like this dog that when you sold it, it gives you 99 heroes.
Yeah.
Oh, the card game Final Fantasy VIII was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Triple Triad.
Triple Triad.
Ooh, that was my shit.
And-
It sounds like a Mexican gang, right? In like Los Angeles.
And
It's just 3 people. 3 Mexicans.
3 Mexicans.
I bet if it's real in the north, in the west, it's gonna be fucking nuts, dude. If we collect cards like that and then just play right there with a mat and everything, I think I would have aced that
what,
game.
what you playing, bro?
Yeah, right.
Playing
Right.
Triple Triad.
Playing Triple
but nah,
Triad,
like,
dog.
but the thing about it was that
Get in on me with me.
Damn.
Come
Was
on.
was that
Exactly.
that game has so many hidden agendas. It was like crazy. There was like the island closest to hell, the island closest to heaven. You had to double back.
I like that the garden, the school that they trained at was actually a big ass battleship, and it flies around. That was the jazziest thing.
Yeah, that was really
because
good.
you
That was really good.
you start the game, you're in this school, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm in school. It's kind of a boring intro, but then like you come back to the school after like a big ass battle, and then they're attacking you, and then the headmaster, the principal of the school is like, fuck it, we out. He pressed the button. Yo, that shit turned into an airship, and I was like,
Word.
holy jazz. Like, oh villain, my villain, the whole fucking
villain.
school.
Basically, it was
Flew
like
away.
it was like
That was some
academy versus
spy
academy.
kids.
Yeah.
That was bonkers. Like, I was like, wow, this game caught me off guard with that jazz
and
right
this
there.
one
007.
academy up by the icebergs or whatever got hit. They didn't get notified in time.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
didn't
that's
warn them in
true.
time. There's a lot of underlying pretext about that story. Like, it has a lot to do with what was going on in the world at the time. Like, a lot of shit with the Middle Eastern conflict, like Desert Storm and shit like that is where they got the inspiration from.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the bombings of the schools and all that other jazz. And you actually weren't in a regular school. It was a military school where they were teaching the kids to be soldiers. So,
Yeah.
So it was a pretty interesting and deep story.
And can I also say that I love being shot out to space? I mean, basically, it was a revolver. I mean, let's keep it G. They basically put you in a gun and shot you into space.
I remember that. That's where you first
That was pretty
That's
cool.
where you finally hook up with the girl for the first time.
I was like, you know what really pulls my trigger? This shot at this space, bitches.
I can dig it.
I like
I can
that.
dig
That's
it.
a
Did,
positive pull my trigger.
Yeah, that's
that's
a
a
positive. Pull my trigger.
There you go.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VIII. That game.
Oh,
has a
and
big place
killing
in
the
my heart.
Marrow,
Yeah.
killing that tentacle bitch. Oh my god! Let her bad breath.
And every Final
Let
Fantasy.
her bad
Final
breath touch
Fantasy,
you. Next, you know, you're
all of
asleep,
them.
you're cursed, you're fucking, your
Oh,
niggas doing
you're
360
That-
confused.
berserks.
Oh, yeah.
He kills himself. Oh, I don't even know what to fucking say.
That monster is the equivalent to like AIDS, Ebola.
Word, it's like that one hooker that you fucked without a condom, and then you're saying that this is the best sex ever. 15 minutes later, because you
Shout
accidentally
out.
busted out.
Shout out to the Full Metal villain Silk City Heel.
You know,
He just said that Marv looks like a combination of Venom Snake and Ocelot. Yo, I can dig it, brother.
I can dig that.
I can dig it.
I can dig
Big
that.
time, brother. Thanks a lot, man.
I can see
they're giving you
I
too
can
much
see
credit.
that.
I don't like it anymore.
You would be a cool ass villain in the game, dog.
I'm a cool ass villain in real life.
You are a cool ass villain in real life.
Nah, you remind me of fucking what's this guy's name from Metal Gear? The guy with the trench coat that actually had a missing arm and a missing leg.
Big
either
Boss?
Ocelot or Liquid.
Nah, his like concert.
Oh, you're talking about Miller.
Miller. Yeah, he reminds me of Miller.
Miller.
With that fucking jacket.
We're gonna have
Miller.
we're gonna have a Metal Gear episode, and then we're gonna go into that. But Miller is actually my favorite character in the Metal Gear Solid series,
Oh yeah.
particularly because I like how in the first game Liquid Snake impersonates him,
Yeah.
and then they're on the phone, right?
Snake.
So they're on the phone, right? So
Are you hungry for words?
no, I'm hungry for words.
Shut up.
So yeah, so Liquid Snake, when he finally says, "I'm not Miller, I'm Liquid Snake," and he takes off his costume, and he's like, "Nigga, we're on the phone. I can't see what you're wearing."
I know, right? Like, how did you
what?
even know?
Like, what the hell?
You
the
knew?
Kodak has the
Does the
picture.
codec have like you can see who you're talking to?
No,
It's called
planted in his
FaceTime.
ear.
I know, right?
It
That
must
was
have been FaceTime.
that was
FaceTime
Apple's
at
first
the time.
ever FaceTime.
When you
right
get
there.
caught talking on the codec, you actually see Snake like there with a little fucking Nintendo Switch.
yeah, he's
taking
like,
a selfie
he's like
and shit.
Liquid.
He's with his iDroid right now.
yeah, Miller did get played in the first Metal Gear. I agree
He
with
did.
that.
He got played.
But,
Full
but
Metal.
if you noticed on Metal Gear Solid 5, he's been blind the whole time, and his accuracy is always on point. And the whole time, I thought he had eye vision. But then when he takes off the shades at the end,
Yeah.
I was like, "You're blind? You've been doing this the whole time?"
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No,
story.
Miller was the only guy in Part 5 that made sense. in
My
opinion.
respect, my
Yeah.
respect went from like 69% to like
Not even
over
Ocelot?
9,000.
Ocelot in Part 5 is just being a sneaky, like manipulative bastard. He tries to act like he's your friend, but you can tell he has like some other motives in Part 5.
Ocelot is a badass, yo. For
Yeah,
real.
he always has a
he always
different
has-
motive, like you can
Yeah.
tell.
Wow.
But getting back to Final Fantasy
He
and
never changed.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 8 in particular, Final Fantasy 8 is one of my favorites. Like I definitely agree with you
Like
on that one.
yeah, like I agree with you guys.
So
the
underrated.
the battle system is down, but like as far
The
as
battle
they,
system was what hurts that game the most.
yeah, but as far as like to me, like the GFs and the AKA Guardian factors and like how you acquire them and like the little hidden bosses, the Cactor, you know, that
Yeah.
character like
Yeah.
Hell,
Yeah.
or like how Odin died just because
Sephiroth killed his
just
ass.
because Sephiroth just held the sword basically forward and he just like sliced them.
But that's the
Freaking
only game
Sephiroth.
that you see a main character or one of the main villains kill a summoning, and you can't use that summoning no more.
yeah,
yeah, but
it's
he,
disappeared.
he comes back reborn in a different form, and he comes
Yeah.
back and he fucks up Sephiroth.
Man,
Yo,
I
Sephiroth,
seen.
as far as villains go, I think Sephiroth is one of my favorite Final Fantasy villains. And not because he's like a deep character like Sephiroth, like he has a deep meaning, like he's trying to save the world in his own
Story's
way.
legit.
I feel
Sephiroth is just a fucking badass,
Yeah,
yo.
he's-
I
legit.
I feel as though Sephiroth is like more or less like when you pay attention to the story, he was possessed. So I don't really blame him for his actions.
But he was just cool to begin with.
No,
He's
yeah, he
like
was
that
cool.
bully in school, the jock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
school.
and his thing was always with his.
I was imagining.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he reminds me of a Flash Thompson from the Spider-Man comic books. He's like that bully in school who's just a douchebag, but he's actually pretty cool and he gets the chicks. And if you follow the story, like they don't say it too many times, but the main girl the Squall falls in love with, she was actually Sephiroth's girlfriend first.
yeah.
Rayona.
Yeah, she was
Rihanna.
actually Sephiroth's girlfriend first.
Fucking slut.
And then when he turned evil and he started going when he turned evil, he started going out with the sorceress. You find out that that's why she left him or whatever. But yeah, Sephiroth is a badass with that trench coat. He got his own gun blade, but instead of it being a revolver, it's like a handgun.
Yeah.
And he actually gave Squall that scar that goes across his
Yeah,
nose.
they gave each
Yeah,
other.
that was in the
scars.
beginning of the
Yeah,
intro.
dude. Oh man, Final Fantasy he has like the best intro.
The game is so underrated.
Like I said,
it is.
It's the battle
When it comes
system
to-
that holds
it's
it
the
back.
battle
when
system
when
that
comes
made
to
it that way.
I give it a 9. I don't give it a perfect 10. The only game I've honestly ever given a perfect 10 was Metal Gear Solid 4. Because honestly, I'll say this.
Metal Solid 4 sucks. Go ahead.
Hold on. Oh, fuck you. But hold on. The whole time during the ending, while the cinematics was happening, I was like, the only thing that will make this game better is if I get to fight Liquid one last time. And then they played the Metal Gear Metal Gear Solid theme music.
Yeah, I like
During
that
the
thing.
fight,
I
at
like
the
that.
end,
Where
I
he-
said to myself,
where he was
I paused the
crawling
game.
when he was crawling in that ventilation that was heat. Like,
Yeah.
it was really hot.
Yeah, and it was burning his
it
costume.
was crazy, dude.
But
crazy.
but this is the Final Fantasy.
It's Final Fantasy. All right.
No fantasy.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Doesn't
Well-
doesn't the principal from the school kind of like Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. The principal.
If
from
I
the,
can remember
from
it again.
School.
Yeah, if I can remember it again, because I haven't played Final Fantasy VIII in a while.
Muscleman is gonna find a picture of him.
He's gonna find a picture. But if anything, I have one good memory of Final Fantasy games.
So moving on from part 8, let's go to J Kids.
We're gonna jump back up to Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, and Heavenly Sword. Heavenly Sword.
I haven't actually played that one, so I want you to enlighten everyone in this room.
Basically, is an MMO. So this MMO takes you to new places, it's just like going to like Breath of the Wild.
Show it to Mighty Pete.
Yeah, there you go. Show it to the camera too. Like this is how.
Yeah, I remember.
This is how the principal looked like.
The principal
He
He
was
looks
actually
like Robin Williams.
actually the principal was actually in love with the sorcerers the whole time.
That was his wife.
Yeah.
That was his wife, and then she got possessed, and then that's
Yeah.
why they
She
broke up.
got possessed with the old sorcerers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
go ahead,
if any-
Jake Kadowski.
It's a great way to meet friends too.
Final Fantasy 14.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Great
that was
experience.
the online only one.
Mm-hmm. That was the online only. That was a subscription game, just like World of Warcraft. That you pay $15 for a month or something like that.
So what was your character, by the way?
My character, I named her Manita Eden.
Why? Why'd you call her that, dude?
Because I wanted something unique. I wanted a girl's name unique, and I wanted to spark a fire every time I wanted.
That sounds like a
fight.
salsa singer.
Manita Eden.
Manita.
Manita
Venga pa la casita.
Eden?
She started off
No,
as
that
a
last name.
she started off as a monk, and
Yeah.
the coolest part about this game is that you can learn any class. You can switch up any class,
And then
that
you have
want.
secondary
Oh,
stats,
wait,
right?
what?
You got- well, all your stats will be, you will have secondary, third,
Yeah.
fourth. Yeah, you could
That's what I'm
have
saying.
all those stats.
Muscleman you played 14 for a little bit too, right? Final Fantasy 14.
No?
I didn't get a chance.
I thought you
okay.
and Dave was playing that shit together.
No, Dave was showing me the game.
Actually, shout outs to Dave. He actually played with me my time
Real
on
quick.
Final Fantasy 14.
Real quick, what was
pretty
the
good.
race that you selected?
My race.
Were you the little teddy bear looking people?
It's mostly the cat looking people.
The cat looked
Oh.
Wait. 14
Yeah.
was the MMO?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did. I did play with David.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
the
you go.
hell?
Yes,
That's
Now
I-
you
I-
know what I'm talking about.
I was thinking that you were talking about 15. I'm
Oh
sorry.
no, not 15.
No, not
Okay,
15.
15. Okay, yeah, no.
We'll get
I
to
played-
15
We'll
at the
get
end.
there. We'll get there.
Yes, but 14 was great. I actually played as a black mage.
Yeah, how fun is it? Like just to go to every area, just to find out new stuff and their story. In between that, there's a lot of story in there.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a lot of stories. Actually,
yeah.
more story. than I
Silk City Hill,
expected
to
answer
for
you?
an MMO.
Yeah, the biggest issue with Metal Gear Solid 4 was the cutscenes. I agree with you.
Yeah, but when we get to the story, and you get to know like some of the parts of the area, and some of the parts are from other Final Fantasy games, especially the Golden Saucer. I
Oh,
went to
yes.
the Golden
From part
Saucer
7.
Yes.
from part 7.
It was
Yeah.
fun actually going in and being able to explore it. They had different sections.
Mm-hmm. And they had triple triad in
The
there.
triple triad.
What? That was
fucking
that
sucked.
shit. It's like a big like
Their card
casino
games
or
were
something like that.
ridiculously hard.
Their card games.
I
were
wish I
hard.
could have played. I'm not that into MMOs.
It's pretty good.
Do you play MMOs, Money Pete?
As far as MMOs, nah, not like.
It's too much
when
grinding,
you,
right?
when
Yeah,
you're in that
it's a lot
major
of grinding.
interaction, like
It's a
It's a lot of
WoW
grinding in
Dungeons
that game.
or like
Dungeons
Final
are
Fantasy
fun.
14,
Yeah, I
nah.
love the dungeons.
The dungeons were really fun.
Yes, this was awesome.
The only like no, I wouldn't even classify Division or
Nah, those aren't
Destiny
MMOs.
as MMOs. Those are
No,
just,
Destiny is an MMO. Destiny is.
Yeah, you can call it an
Sort of,
MMO.
not
I mean,
really.
but I wouldn't say
call
I wouldn't say an MMO.
You get
be-
raids.
The raids only have a max party of 6 with
What?
with the raid
That's why I
with the
don't think
raid
it's an
and
MMO.
wows.
I
and,
thought
like,
you told me the
and
raids
Final
were
Fantasy
unlimited
14.
contest
Six.
players.
I never told you that. I never ever told you that.
No,
Oh, so no,
Never
then
told you that.
then Destiny is just like Fantasy Star.
I don't know who
It's like
thought-
a simple MMO.
Wow,
Yes,
you brought
it
up
is.
another
That's what I mean.
classic.
you
Like when
can't-
it comes to like
Yeah.
14, I think you
like the home station. There's a limited amount of people that can be there.
In the moon.
In the tower, yes.
In the tower, there's only a limited amount of people in that.
Probably like 12 people. Probably.
Are you serious?
Only one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
I could have sworn
exactly.
it was unlimited.
And then when you go into an actual stop, like a planet, let's say you
Yeah.
go to Mars, the most people that could be on that select spot in Mars is like probably like less than like 12.
What the?
people, about-
Yeah. So it's a fake MMO like Fantasy Star.
It's a wannabe MMO. It tries
Yeah.
so hard to be an MMO, but it's not an MMO.
Yeah. But
It's
going
good
back to
where it
Final
is.
Fantasy 14,
14.
If there was an MMO that I would play, I would like to play that one because I've seen Dave play it a lot. Shout out to Dead Seven or Dave Davalis, whatever he calls himself.
Stalin.
Or Stalin.
As I know in high school. Stalin.
Yes. But he is a diehard Final Fantasy 14 player. I saw his ninja or his samurai.
Yeah, he
whatever
go
he
in.
had.
He go in.
Ninja.
He helped me. He helped me a lot, definitely.
Yeah,
grinding through a lot.
Every time I go on
Shout out to
PSN
him.
and I look at my friends list and see what they're playing, yo, Dave is always playing Final Fantasy 14.
I gotta say, I am grateful for him showing me the ropes of Final Fantasy 14.
I am too.
He definitely.
I would play it with him if he wasn't a Republican. Psych. No political jokes.
No,
Just kidding.
No, don't get him started.
Just kidding.
Don't get him
Just
started.
kidding.
I don't think Dave is conservative, but okay. But
Yeah,
go ahead
definitely,
to
but not gonna go into it.
Yeah.
he is. I'm gonna get him in the
Oh,
party
yo,
chat.
man, stop playing right now.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Dave, stop playing. We need to have a talk.
But no, Final Fantasy 14. I like Final Fantasy 14, but I think it shouldn't be called Final Fantasy 14. I think it should have been called Final Fantasy Online.
Yeah,
I
I
agree
agree with that.
with
I don't.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
the
agree with
main
that.
numbered Final Fantasies should have just been like single player story driven games, while the MMOs should have been called like Final Fantasy Online or Final Fantasy, whatever jazz. You know,
Exactly.
they kind of ruined the brand a little bit when they did that because it's like when you think of Final Fantasy, you think of a single player like story driven experience,
Role-playing game.
a role playing game.
Mhm.
And when they shout out to DX and motherfucking he said fuck Donald Trump, word, we with you.
We with you on
Pissed
that
off.
one.
But yeah, when I think of Final Fantasy for real, I think of a single player like story, cutscenes, a love circle type thing going on, and like I think the MMOs kind of like hurt the brand a little bit because it made you think like, what is a Final Fantasy anymore if they're just fucking around and they make any game Final Fantasy.
Exactly.
But
Speaking of that, there is a new expansion coming out that's called Stormblood.
ooh,
Yeah, so that's
Stormblood.
definitely going to be something that people are going to come back to.
I actually do think that Final Fantasy 14 though it had a rough start when they released it. The game was barely finished, but
Yeah.
people are saying that's like the best MMO right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like
bar
the
none.
best.
Bar none. This is
Like
the best
graphics
MMO I
wise,
ever
there's
played.
not an MMO that looks as good as Final Fantasy 14, and I can say that from my own eyes because I've actually seen it being played.
The best part is that you can actually play on your PS4 system and PC, and
Yeah,
you can have
you can
friends
crossplay. You can
crossplay
crossplay.
with you.
That's dope.
That's the dopest part. That I
And you
believe.
can use a keyboard on the PS4.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
That computer play style.
Yeah,
a lot of people do that.
I think it's jazzy.
Yeah.
I think it's jazzy. Honestly, Final Fantasy 14, any MMO Final Fantasy game always had a hard time like gaining my trust, but I actually do think like, all right, I agree. This game is legit. Like I think it can do good.
And
I think it learned from Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah, they learned a lot because Final Fantasy 11.
It was trash.
I remember
it was.
It
I never
was
played
so
11. Never
it
played
was
it.
so hard. I remember when I worked at Game Express in downtown. My coworker used to play it a lot, and he was like, "Yo, let me show you one of the summonings." So, dude, he never he showed me one of the summonings,
Yeah.
and that shit was like this big. It was like, I'm gonna summon a dragon. It came in like a little butterfly, and I was like, "Yo, why is the fucking summoning so small?" Because the PS2 couldn't handle a big ass summoning like a
To be fair, Final Fantasy 14 did have their little summonings too, but
Little baby
they had,
summonings?
They had like third party summonings
Yeah, I think they
too.
shouldn't have even gave that option because I think it ruins the name of a summoner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
'cause
little
you-
baby butterfly.
when you
what
think
the
of
fuck?
summonings, you think of like the games
Exactly.
showing a long ass cutscene of the summoning coming out.
big ass monster.
You think about
Aeon,
Final-
GF, whatever you call it.
If anything, Final Fantasy 12 hooked it up because I hated the battle. There's like some people that actually liked
I love
the
the battle
battle.
system for part 12.
For part 12?
When it got to me, I was gonna say part 12 is my favorite.
It was, to me, I hated part 12 because part 12 to me was like if a pilot literally hit the switch for autopilot and just like left the room to go take a piss and get a cup of
But
coffee.
yeah, I like how people bring up that argument. But the thing is, that just means that before match, you gotta strategically set up every single character to do everything right. So it's not like yes, you're hitting the X button every time to just hit attack. 'Cause that's what you would do in a regular match. A regular fight in Final Fantasy, you're just spamming X, spamming it.
Yeah.
But in Final Fantasy 12,
So he does the fucking supernova.
Yeah, until you get
fucking
limit breaks or
Yeah,
some shit, or
exactly.
overdrive.
destroy your whole team in
Yeah.
one strike. You gotta have auto revive and shit.
Yeah.
auto
That's
potion.
just
But
OP,
Final Fantasy
yo.
12 is like you're thinking ahead of time. You're thinking like a strategist. You're thinking, all right, if I'm going to go fight this guy, I gotta set up this character to do this. I gotta set up this character to do haste. I gotta set up this character to do that, do that, do that, do that. And it's not just you. It's the same game as Final Fantasy 7, but you're just fighting the bosses ahead of time and thinking about their maneuvers and everything like that. So I like Final Fantasy 12.
So
I actually do like it.
we do have to talk about one that hit the mainstream when it was on PS2, Final Fantasy X.
And I want Muscle Man to go into that because
Mm-hmm.
quick story about Muscle Man in high school. When we were in high school
Don't
and
even do it.
and
Oh,
boost phones,
shit.
you know, the bleep, the brrr,
Don't
the
even-
chirp
Uh-oh.
was popular.
Don't even
I
do it.
remember.
Muscle Man had
Okay.
the Final Fantasy X battle music as his ringtone. And every
I
time
love that.
he'd be like, yo, check out my ringtone. You know when you hit volume and plays your music? Yo,
So
he'd be
cool.
like, "Din, din, 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 din." Yo, and he would do the
It
movement
would be
of
like
Titus.
dun, 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 dun.
Yo, oh
Dun,
my
dun, dun,
god.
dun, dun.
It was so epic. We'd be
I
walking.
love that song.
We'd be walking.
That was
some-
my favorite. Yeah.
We'd be walking
I like
somewhere,
that.
and
I
Muscle
like
Man would just be like. "Din, din, 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 din."
Did you go in battle position? Did
Yes,
you-
yes. He would do Titus's battle stance. Yo, just imagine him. He'd be like, "Yo,
Just be
check this
like-
out, yo." Yo, it used to be the funniest jazz ever, yo. I used to love
If I gotta pick three.
watching him play
I
that
think
shit.
Final Fantasy had the best soundtrack of all of them.
Oh.
Part 10?
Part 10, yeah.
R10 had the best one.
I love the music.
It's not my favorite, but I think it has a really good soundtrack.
The soundtrack.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we should talk about too. Final Fantasy music in general. Like, oh my
It was
god.
all the music is
They all-
great.
they all
It's
have an
great.
All of them
orchestra.
are so good.
That's
Not
why
part
it's-
7.
that's
Part
absolutely-
7 has synthesizer music.
Yes,
But it's still good too,
It was
though.
still good.
Yeah.
But part 10 in general, like I remember my favorite song in part 10 is when you fight Unaleska,
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's like this digital type I can't even describe
It's-
that beat. It's so jazzy.
it's not the first time you hear that song though. You hear that song,
Whenever you go into a
before,
battle,
but they added extra.
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
It's
Extra
Oh.
beats.
extra beats, instruments, and
Yeah.
let me tell you, bro, the fight with Unaleska I think stands out the most to me.
yes,
'Cause
it was
this-
one of my
it-
hardest fights. Actually,
Yeah.
my first time round. I mean,
Because just
I
think
was-
about what's going on in that moment in the game. Because Unaleska is the first one to tell you, like, yes, when you're the summoner, the last summoning is your guardian, and he has to die for you, and then become Sin, which is the final boss.
exactly.
So that at that moment when Unaleska told the whole party that shit, they were like, nah, fuck that. We're just gonna kill
Exactly.
Sin
Exactly.
and kill all the Aeons.
no, what really turned them away was the fact that the final Aeon kills Yuna,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that's what it did. Like, I don't want to kill you.
You,
Like,
I don't want to. What the hell?
I love you. I
I'm
love. I
not
love
going
you.
to kill you.
I love.
wrong
I
with
love-
you?
You knew you would die, you know. Oh, man.
that was your favorite trademark growing up.
You knew you would die, you know.
Back in 7th grade, I remember Marvin just randomly coming out of nowhere like, "You need to die," you know.
That was my favorite line in the game because Riku says it out of nowhere. She'd be like, "You would die, you know."
I mean, the moment was placed. They were in the fucking out bed,
Can we?
the home.
Word, George Fernandez. Yeah, Star
Well-
Wars Battlefront unfinished. Developers need to fucking cut that shit out and release unfinished games. Go
Yeah,
back
I
to
know,
the
right?
PS2 games when you release a whole fucking game.
Yeah, no.
But Final Fantasy X, oh my god,
The
there's so
best
many
game.
funny
Can we-
moments.
Can we reminisce now that we're getting on funny moments? Can we reminisce of fucking Titus's laugh?
Oh, wait a minute.
How about Kimari's smile?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that was creepy.
when they got Mario smile for the first
if I could actually just say, I can relate to that. I don't know if you guys ever unlocked them, but there's a hidden like mercenary like
Moses
summoning.
did it.
Wait, what are you talking about?
In,
Final Fantasy
in,
10?
in Final Fantasy X, there's a hidden mercenary summoning. Like you actually have to pay him.
Oh, you're talking about Yojimbo.
Yojimbo.
He's not really that hidden. He's right there in the comments.
But like basically, I relate to him because like basically that was me. Like, if you want me to
you
do
wish.
something, you gotta pay me, bitch. You better pay me right.
Of course.
You better pay me right.
Yo, Jimbo, he's the one with all the swords?
He has one, or he has more. Yeah, he has multiple swords, and he has a dog with him.
Yeah. I know
And
you're
the
talking
samurai.
about. Yeah.
Basically, if you wanted him
cool.
to do something actually good, like you had to pay him like over 10 grand
I remember that.
to
Shit.
for him
It
to
was a
use
lot
the
of
sword.
money. It was pretty too steep, bro.
Yeah,
But
I
he
remember
actually
that
do
shit.
work.
He was
If you
dope.
paid him
He actually
shit,
do work.
If
though.
if Yuna was if you got her like to get her to break the damage limit, he would do unstoppable.
Mad fucking damage.
Okay.
bet.
But he is one of the hidden summonings. You don't get him automatically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's optional. I mean,
Yeah, he's an optional
is-
summoning.
but
he
he's
is
not
optional.
really that hidden. I would say the hardest Aeons to get were the Mage's Sisters, but they were so worth it.
No, who's the last summoning you
The
get?
Mage's Sisters.
That's the last one.
You have to have all the summonings.
No,
already.
there's one after them, isn't there?
No, you have to have all the summonings and all their items. You know, when you go to a temple, you would get an item and then the emblem will pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to get all. I think was it 8 of them or 9 of them. I think there was 10 summonings. I forgot how many.
Guacamole.
But you had to get all the Aeons and their secret items to unlock.
Ideas,
Wasn't
meal.
Final Fantasy X the first one where you actually had to fight the Bahamut before you actually get them?
Is it?
Ye-
You might
Yes,
be
yes,
right.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
you're
you're
You
right.
might be
He's
right.
Because I
He's right.
remember-
because they're trying to stop Yuna from learning, becoming the
Word,
Grand
Oh, you
because-
fight him in the sewer, right?
Yes,
Because she was in
Word,
the
'cause
ritual.
I remember that nigga clawing down, and I said, "What is he gonna do?" And then I saw the wheel spinning. I was like,
That's when the.
Yo,
that's when
I
you.
like-
the first
I-
time he fucked
I-
up
Dios
all my
mío.
summonings.
I was like, "Let me close my eyes. I don't even want to see
I
Yeah.
had,
that
I had to
damn
go
over."
back and grind for
And
a
that-
while.
And
Yeah,
that was the
in the
part
sewer.
when. And that was the part when Yuna was doing the ritual, right?
She's gonna get married.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was to Seymour.
She's gonna marry
And
Seymour.
Tidus was like, no, that's my bitch.
Oh, that
Yeah,
that
exactly.
cutscene.
He came in.
Ah, that was the best. That was
That
awesome.
cutscene is so jazzy. That was the best cutscene in the game. They're
He was
riding
like,
down.
that's Yuna right there. I know her.
They
her
shoot
lipstick.
they shoot the harpoons into the church.
Yes.
And then everybody is grinding like Sonic down the
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
harpoons.
That- I remember they used to have the preview on the commercial
Yes.
to advertise that.
Yes. Oh my god, that's the best
And
cutscene in the
Toonami
game.
used to always play it. That's the only thing that.
Oh, Toonami used to do reviews of games.
Yes, that was like the only game that got like a 10 out of 10.
They gave it a 10 out of 10.
And it was
I
mainly
remember
because
that,
of the
though.
voiceovers, mainly.
Oh, well, at the time,
Yes.
it was one of the first games with 100% voiceovers.
Shout outs to Tom.
No,
Yeah.
it didn't have 100%. There was some hidden people that didn't have voiceovers.
Really?
Yes.
It had to be a very few. Very
It
few.
was very few.
probably,
Most-
probably Blitzball players.
It was, yeah, a lot of Blitzball players didn't have
I would imagine.
voice.
Because almost like 90% of that game is all voiced.
It was. Like,
Even
the,
if
the,
you
the
talk
main
to-
story is all voice.
Yeah.
Hold on, for the
Oh,
Blitzball players, I want to say that them blue monkey or cat, whatever the fuck motherfuckers, I hated them.
The
with
Kamari's
passion.
people.
The
Kamari.
Kamari people,
Yeah.
their
The
body
Ron-
was so strong.
The
I was like,
Ronso,
The
I was
Ronsos.
like,
The
God
Ronsos.
damn it! Stop knocking my people
Yeah,
out.
the Ronsos.
Oh man, Blitzball
I think I never
was fun
put
in there too.
Mount
as
Gagazak was
much
their
time
hometown.
into that game as any
Your
other game I
camera
ever played
is
in my
like
life.
falling around Mighty Peak.
Yeah. No,
This-
but
this
Blitzball,
camera.
Blitzball was really fun
Yeah,
when
I
I
got
played it.
so
in there.
OP in Blitzball. It
What?
was ridiculous.
Yo,
That
3
shit is
beers
ridiculous.
left out of the
I got
24.
to the point where it was just like the whole team could be on me, and I have enough energy for all the people
Right?
to pass me, and I'd still get to the goal.
Exactly.
Score, the goalie can't do nothing.
They can't.
Could
it's so
you
easy to make it go in there.
could you
It
beat
is.
could you beat the first Blitzball match?
I actually done it a few times.
It's hard.
It's really hard for the
trick
first time.
is this is the trick. You have to send your the guy that gets the ball when you finally get the ball. Thank God when you finally get the ball.
Oh, is this Moses comfortable tips?
Yes,
Ooh.
comfortable
This
tips
is
from Moses.
this is like his favorite game of all time.
Yes,
So
you have to give the ball to the guy that's on the bottom. Don't mess. You can't mess with the setup that they have for you. If you start messing with it, unless you know you have a certain strat, but usually the guy that's on the bottom of the map is
Yeah.
the guy you want to always pass the ball to, because here's the thing: everybody is faster than you at the moment.
yeah,
So what you do is you pass the ball to him, and the whole team starts chasing him. So what you do is when you got enough people, because he has the most stamina in
Yeah.
the team, so you can pass like probably 2 or 3 people while attacking you,
I never knew this shit.
and then you pass it back to somebody and like back to your team, make them go forward. But before they attack you, you need to pass the ball back to that guy. You just keep going back and forth with that guy,
Like-
and eventually you'll make the goal.
Lure them out. Basically.
Exactly, you're
Yeah.
luring them all into one player.
Exactly.
And then you finally
I
pass
never
the
knew
ball.
this shit. I thought you were supposed to lose that match on purpose.
No, you can actually win the match and you see the trophy in the game.
Oh, what? I'm gonna do that now. I got it on Steam.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games. I probably did everything you could possibly do.
You know,
The fucking Spear Grid in part 10.
I finally completed when I got it on PC. I
fucking
finally
Spear
completed
Grid.
it.
Spear Grid, yo.
The only way to complete it, the fastest way, is through the
Monster
I
Rancher.
the
I
Monster
actually
Rancher
wanna
guy.
know
That
this
motherfucker.
Monster Rancher.
But there is it's so easy though. You just gotta get like a weapon that has no stats that you could tell Riku to put stats on it and just put your stats from.
Riku was like the best character.
Oh yeah, she was
Yeah,
so
she
helpful
was-
in that game.
yeah,
She
really
breaks the
helpful.
limits. She
Yeah.
she merges the weapons.
Exactly.
She does all that jazz.
But she gave you stats that can turn AP to overdrive.
Yeah.
Or overdrive to AP. That's what you wanted, overdrive to AP. So instead of your overdrive filling up, you'll get more thing at the end, and you had to select your. Do you remember your battle stance? You'd have like there's warrior stock. It's basically how your overdrive filled up, and you'd have to set up to a certain way to where your party members die. So when your party members die, you get more AP because you already have.
I don't
the
remember
stat.
what AP is. What does AP
AP
do?
was like the
Your-
EX.
yeah.
Action
EXP
points or something like that?
for Final Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Action points.
That's how you leveled up.
That's how you
use
grind.
those points.
Yo, JC Dragon said Moses is a G.
Yeah, dude, these are good.
Don't try to.
These are good
don't try to
strategies.
patronize
And then
me
Silk
now.
City Hill said Tom had the same voice as Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Yes.
Yeah.
Steve Blum, one of the best voice actors in anime, in cartoons in general. He did Wolverine for a long time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I love Steve Blum. But
Good voice actor.
but yeah, Final Fantasy X.
One of the best.
I think it was cool, Final Fantasy X, because it was one of the first Final Fantasies that I actually owned. Because when Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 came out, I was still too young to actually buy games. But when Part 7 came out, I was like in 7th grade, and my parents would give me allowance. And I remember buying that game at Game Express and being so jazzy about it. Actually, I remember when Moses bought it before me. He brought it to my house, and I played it the first
Final
third
Fantasy
of the
10.
game. Yeah, Final Fantasy 10.
Childhood memories.
The first third of the game, we played it at my house. He was like, "Yo, I just bought this game," and we played the first third of it. We got all the way to the part where you fight Sin on the boat, when he he's like moving close and further from you. And I was like, man, this is a movie right here. Like, we're playing a fucking movie.
That's what I felt the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole way.
I remember the first cutscene where you see Orin at the stadium after the Blitzball match.
Dude, that was so epic.
I
wasn't
remember
it?
I remember thinking of the graphics and looking at Orin's face, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, Orin, and honestly, I don't know how you judge me with this, but Orin and Waka, and honestly, Yuna, not even Tidus. I don't know when I stopped leveling up Tidus, but at
The
one
main
point
character.
he just became a bitch, and I just couldn't even help.
No,
Help him.
Waka is
Orin's a
actually
tank.
Orin, that
Orange
ball,
is
that
nice.
volleyball did 9,999.
Yeah.
You never
Just like
broke
him
the
going
limit?
like,
You
whoop.
break the limit, it does
I would,
more.
I laughed whenever he threw the ball. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah, it's
that
like-
that ball did how much damage? Can
Well,
we just
we're-
run that
we're,
back?
We're running into the bottom end of this podcast, so I want you guys just to give me your main characters and why in like a short, brief sentence. Mighty P, who's your favorite Final Fantasy character and why?
My favorite
That's
Final
a
Fantasy.
difficult
What does it matter whether it's hero or
It doesn't matter, hero, villain, non-playable character, playable character, just go.
you
And
know
in a
what?
short sentence, just tell me why.
You know it had to be Squall because when you get to his last finisher from which is called Lionheart, that shit is just retarded. It's like you just keep hitting the trigger button to do extra damage. It's like shoo, 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 shoo. And then when you makes contact, you hit the trigger button. I don't know if they even told you about that. So that way he uses a bullet.
I learned about the trigger button like late, and I was like, whoa, I could do double damage with this shit.
Basically, I was doing the trigger button on the Omega weapon, so that finisher to me was like the best finisher of all time. Like that was it.
I remember that shit was jazzy.
Like
Moving forward, not to cut you off, but we got a little bit of time left. Mighty Pete, your favorite Final Fantasy character and why?
J-Kid.
you mean J Kid? The fuck you
Oh, I
look
was
to
about
the
to say, like,
you look
call
to
me
your
Mighty P.
to
Yeah,
your
because you
left.
looked at
Don't
him.
call
man.
me
I'm
that
like,
name anymore.
Nah, you
I don't know
failed.
why I confused you guys.
Nah,
I
it's
think it's
okay.
because you're both Peruvian.
He's so offended.
He's half Peruvian.
Jay
He's a-
Kadowski.
He's a half breed.
Jay Kadowski, your favorite Final Fantasy character and why?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Playable, non-playable, doesn't matter. The first one that pops in your head is your favorite. Go ahead.
I mean, everybody's gonna hate me for this because I would choose Cloud. I would choose Cloud.
And why?
I would be.
So typical.
I know.
I know.
Why?
Just
Because
kidding, just
most
kidding.
of the gameplay of Final Fantasy, I actually got with 7. Most likely, I love how his sword looks. It's pretty cool. Fucking Buster Sword. Oh my god. The meteor shower that he does with Meteor Strike, that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. Actually, the ending to not the ending, but right close to the ending when he was facing Sephiroth. I mean, I felt like that was like an epic battle.
I like Cloud just for the plot twist where you find out that his memories aren't his and he's actually Zack.
Exactly. He's actually.
I thought
Zack.
that caught as a little kid thinking about that. I was like, wow, that caught me so off guard. Like his memories aren't even his.
Yeah. I mean,
He was actually like just some regular ass soldier.
Yo, it was actually a clusterfuck.
He was actually the Mighty Pete of his unit.
Pretty much.
Muscle Man Moses.
I don't know why I'm drawn to him now. That's why.
Your favorite
Yo.
Final Fantasy character and why?
It's hard to honestly pick, but I'm probably gonna be quick about it. I would probably say Jet.
Ooh, I like that answer.
Jet.
I like that answer. You're
You
gonna be
mean
the one.
Jet, the father of
Tidus'
Tidus?
father,
Tidus'
yeah.
father.
Oh my god, that's a good answer.
He kind of looks like a pirate.
He
Yeah,
does.
he does.
He's a scummy,
does.
but he's actually a lovable scummy.
He is.
Technically, he's the real hero behind everything.
He is the real hero.
He
You're
is.
right.
Yeah, he is.
It's crazy that Tidus
He
grew
had a
up.
whole his whole
hating
motive
him.
just completely changed.
Yeah,
He went from being this
yeah.
cocky motherfucker to like
Yeah.
this.
And you hated him
trying
in the
to save
beginning.
the world guy.
You really
Yeah.
hated him in the beginning.
You
and then-
hated him in the beginning.
And in the end, you're like, I love you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they pull the rug from under you because
Yeah.
they show you all these cutscenes where he's a scummy, and then at the end you find
Well,
out like, yo, he sacrificed himself,
It's like
Exactly.
and he wanted his son to kill him.
That's
It's
what
like
made
when
him-
somebody-
That's what made me like him the most.
it's
Yeah.
like when somebody talks shit about somebody and they don't really know who he's
Yeah.
about.
Oh,
And
you
then
know
he
what?
was like-
you know what? That was the Itachi and
You interrupted him, motherfucker.
I'm
I know,
sorry,
right?
sorry,
why you
sorry. Go ahead,
Why you
ahead.
interrupt? And you
I
playing-
apologize
And you're
for
putting
Ruka
Itachi
Sensei.
on here after I'm
Ruka
watching
Sensei.
Naruto.
I'm
Don't even
sorry.
do that.
Yes.
Mango
Don't
Sharingan.
spoil that for me.
Mighty P, continue.
Mighty P. JK, goddammit! You look at him and you call him by his name.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
You fucking
sorry.
spick.
I'm sorry.
He has the
I'm
eye
sorry.
patch. I
I'm
can't
sorry.
really
I'm
look at-
sorry. I'm sorry.
You call him Big
Jake
Boss.
Kadowski. Continue.
It's okay. Suda 51.
See what happens after 4
I
beers?
understand.
Nah, just for that,
Just
Suda
for
51,
Suda 51.
we can burn.
We got
We'll
4
burn
minutes,
Suda
guys.
51.
Go.
All right, so. Whew. Give me the question.
Your favorite Final Fantasy character and why?
I already answered that.
Damn, what the hell were we
That was
talking
Cloud.
about? Whose turn was it then?
Your turn.
It was my turn.
Oh no, I was talking about like if you got to know a character and you're talking
yes.
shit about him.
There you go.
And he was like, people are like, oh, this guy is crap. This guy's a piece of shit. He's selfish and all that. But then when it comes time to you learning his background, you'd be like, oh, he's not really a piece of shit. He's
No,
actually helped us.
Jack
He actually helped us live and helped us.
Jack is
Damn,
actually.
I feel like a piece of
Jack
shit.
is one
now,
of the
just-
best.
Yeah, you see, that's
He-
how
he-
Final
I
Fantasy
agree with
X
you.
was.
Jack was the best bad guy or final villain of a game in Final Fantasy
One of them.
because he caught you off guard because he actually had good intentions. A lot of people say that about Sephiroth. Like Sephiroth had really good intentions.
But he was all evil.
No,
But
he was pure.
But he was a pure.
Sephiroth was pure
devil.
evil.
But Jack had actually good intentions.
He actually
I like
had
how they did that on
conscience.
Yeah.
7. Like he was a good guy, basically.
He pretty much was a good
He
guy.
was a good
But the
guy.
thing
Then
is-
he became the evil.
But the thing is about
motherfucker.
Jack actually, he actually loved his son. He just was hard on him because he wanted him to man up.
He wanted
Yeah,
to be
of course.
strong.
He
They
wanted
wanted
him
him-
to be
He
stronger.
didn't know how to show affection.
Exactly,
Mhm.
and which a lot of people can relate with because a lot of people are like that with
a lot of
their
people
fathers.
can relate that.
I
to
mean, not to be a
mine.
sociopath or anything, but I could actually see the good in Sephiroth because
I can see it too, but I still think
Me
that
too.
though his look and his demeanor is too typical villain.
Emo as
While
fuck.
Jack, on the other hand, he's not typical villain. He's just a cocky athlete,
He's funny
jock,
as hell,
and he's
too.
funny. And when you watch his Spear Grits videos, which is like
Yes.
the Instagram or back in the day,
Yeah,
the Vine.
Exactly. That's the
It's
Vine.
like, yo, he's funny as hell.
Yeah.
And you find out he used to chill with Yuna's father
He
and
was
Orin.
also a drunk. You can't forget
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
the
was
best part
drunk.
about him.
Yes.
Yo, because we love him because he reminds us of our fathers. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's probably
That's
what it
probably
is.
what it really is.
Now
Except my dad. My dad doesn't drink.
That's
like
crazy.
that. He
Now-
does drink, but not like that.
now for us being villains, we have to pick like the best villain from Final Fantasy.
If we have enough time.
We
All
don't have
right.
enough time.
Okay. Well,
Just
I didn't tell
just
who my
quick.
favorite character is, but I'm gonna go into real quick. My favorite character is Cecil from Final Fantasy IV because you start off the game as pretty much a villain. In Part 4. I don't know if you guys played this with Super Nintendo, but I played it on the Game Boy remake version. You start off with the game as a Black Knight, and you're working for this evil king who's trying to take over the other kingdoms.
Aren't you a dragoon?
No, his best friend was a dragoon. Cecil and Cain. Cain was a dragoon, and pretty much you're working for the king. You're taking over kingdoms and shit like that, and then you end up going to this summoner village, and you end up killing everybody like with a fire magic, and that activates by itself. Like you didn't know it was gonna do that. So as soon as you and Cain arrive in the summoner village, you burn down the entire fucking thing, and then you find this one little girl who's a summoner, who's the only one who lived, and you pretty much take her in and like let her join your party, and she's like the first summoner or whatever. And then later on in the middle of the game, you actually like throw down your Dark Knight status, and you say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna be a Dark Knight no more. And then you actually become a paladin, and that's when you go back and you actually fight the Emperor, and you find out he was possessed with all this other jazz. But yeah, I think Cecil was the first main character to have a plot twist like that. So yeah, Cecil Highwing from Final Fantasy IV is my favorite main character.
All right, just sidetracking real quick. I just want to say that I gave this lucky son of a bitch right here 2 of the best characters in Final Fantasy Tactics. I fucking raised them from birth.
No,
I gave him my
Tactics,
fucking. I gave him,
memories.
I gave him my ninja and my sniper, and he said, "Yeah, yo, this game is so hard." And I was like, "I'm gonna give you 2 pieces of God." And I gave him my ninja and my sniper.
This was 8th grade year.
Yeah.
8th grade with the link cable.
They were in the same class in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And we were outside. He was like, "Yo, why are you only sending one guy? Because I only need one guy." And he's like, "There's 12 people."
Rambo.
And then he, as soon as he saw the movement pattern, he said, "He has that much movement speed." And then it was like one shot was like 1 kill right there. Double. Like,
oh yeah.
Double
Yo,
slashes.
shout out to all the Final Fantasy games that aren't a numbered game, like Final Fantasy Tactics, Crystal Chronicles, Dissidia,
Explorers from 3DS.
Any of the Final Fantasies that didn't make it into the main numbers, there's a lot of good ones too.
There's a lot of good ones
that we
right
can't go into. Shout out to the
Crisis
30 years.
Core.
Crisis Core.
This man here asked for backup, and I was like, I was like an angel straight from heaven. I was like, I'll give you only one night, but it is the last night you'll ever.
He's like, I got nobody to spare. I can spare you this one guy.
One last thing, guys, before we go into our shout outs and our closing.
Okay.
JC Dragon asks, do you guys think Final Fantasy 15 will have the same impact on this generation of players that Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 10 had on people the first time they played it?
I wish I could answer that question.
J Kid. Actually, we haven't all played Final Fantasy 15, JC Dragon, so it's hard to answer.
It's mostly me and Marv probably.
Yeah, and I don't honestly think so.
I probably need that back, by the way, Marv.
Heard about the game? I don't think so.
I don't think so, just because
no epic plot twist.
Before Final Fantasy 7 when it came out and Final Fantasy 10 when it came out, honestly, the CG cutscenes and the story and the main characters, there was nothing else like it at the time.
Yeah.
And the thing about Final Fantasy 15, it's coming out at a time where games are pretty much already movies, and every game has like this big story arcs and cutscenes and all this crazy shit. So no game of Final Fantasy will ever match up to what Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 10 did.
I think it's because basically all those major effects that all those big wows have already been displayed to people. Basically, Final Fantasy would have to basically like reinvent the wow in people.
You would have to.
You gotta be real. We've been spoiled.
We've been spoiled.
A lot of stuff.
There's too much of other games that have done amazing things better than Final Fantasy does now. Final Fantasy 15 did now. DX the Great said, which one is the one with the yellow bird, aka Big Bird nephew?
The Chocobo?
That's the Chocobo.
That's actually, in every
every Final Fantasy has a Chocobo.
Shout outs to the Chocobo. I wish I can own a Chocobo.
Shout out to the golden.
I want to golden Chocobo.
Word. And one last thing, guys.
The Moogle.
So Final Fantasy has been with us for 30 years. Do you think 30 years later, from today, are we still going to be having the Final Fantasy games that are still going to be coming out?
Like what
are we going to
said?
have the 60th anniversary of Final Fantasy?
It depends. If they reinvent the WoW. If they reinvent the WoW. Like Pete
I'm a
said.
dying villain.
That's your name. The dying villain.
The dying villain.
Guys,
the dying
will Final Fantasy last us another 30 years?
I believe so.
No. If they continue the way at the track that is continuing right now, shit.
Well, 15 did its best, and
if they go back to their old roots, I think. What,
you wanted to be turn-based again?
It doesn't have the.
I think
if we could,
I think our generation, the
But
new
I'm
generations,
not only talking about.
can't handle turn-based
I know.
games.
I'm not talking about just the battle system. I'm also talking about character-wise, the personality, the story, the boss fights.
What do you think, Mighty P? Will Final Fantasy be here 30 years later?
I think so, because as far as story base goes, there's no general story base. So as far as like how it will appeal to the people, it could always adjust itself accordingly. You know, like you could already see brief trailers of what Final Fantasy VII is going to be. It's basically going to be a hack and slash. It's not going to be a direct Final Fantasy 12 like preemptive tactics. It's going to be basically on the spot adjustments, on the spot, you know, movement.
Jake Kadowski.
I know you were trying not to mess up.
I know. I was thinking about it. 30 years from now, are we
What's
going to be
his name
talking
again?
about Final Fantasy?
We're definitely going to talk about Final Fantasy 30 years from now. There are going to be a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. So that's up to the future. We're definitely going to see Final Fantasy 30. Final
That's
Fantasy
crazy.
30 in 2000.
My answer for that
whatever.
question is I hope not. I hope they don't just keep milking this shit. I hope
That's
that
what I think they're going to do.
I hope that Final Fantasy
They're
can
not gonna
have
be able to, bro. I'm telling you, they're not gonna be.
They'll
I
try,
agree.
you
They
know.
They'll
probably.
try, but they
I
won't
agree.
be
They
able to.
probably
That's what I'm saying,
won't.
they'll try.
We probably will have Final Fantasy 30 years from now, but I hope not. I hope it's something that we can reminisce on and still have good memories, instead of them bringing out like another Final Fantasy that ends up ruining the reputation again, like Final Fantasy 13 did. I'm surprised none of y'all mentioned Final Fantasy 13, but that was the darkest.
I heard that was a dark game.
That was the darkest times in
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
history.
1 was probably better than that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I remember you beat that whole shit.
Well, I didn't do it on my own. I had the internet help.
Everybody has internet help now. But you just helped the internet right now by telling how to beat the first Blitzball game.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, just throw.
You helped
back
me,
and forth,
too.
Back and forth.
But yeah, but pretty much, yes, I think it probably will be around 30 years from now. But
Yep.
I hope not. I hope they let us have some time, like some break from it, and bring it back when the people cry for it again.